Global PS of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Director General of Rwanda Community Abroad, Deputy CEO of RCB, senior government representatives, the media present, and of course the youth who are joining us for the 4th Rwanda Youth Tour. Welcome, welcome to Rwanda, and good morning to all. So you bear with me, I have a speech and I'll try to make it as short as possible. But first of all, I wanted to say that it's such an honor to be able to meet with all of you today. The message that Raissa just gave actually took me back about 10, 12 years ago when I decided to move back to Rwanda. It was the same decision. Came for one summer, did not plan on staying. I went back just to pack my clothes, my things, and I just moved back to Rwanda very quickly because so many things were happening here. And I was really feeling, living in the United States at the time, that life was just passing by and there were so many opportunities that could have been seized that I was wasting in the US. So it is very possible to decide to move to Rwanda. Rwanda is ready to welcome all of you. Again, in hindsight, I would not say that it was easy as it is for Raissa today. So I believe with each generation, things become a little bit smoother than it was for the previous generation. But despite the difficulties or issues of integration or working through the cultural differences, at the end of it, we're all Rwandans, so there is always a solution for all of us. So thank you again, Raissa, for this message. So something that I actually look very much forward to is learning from each one of you what your backgrounds are, what makes you so interested in Rwanda, because for us at the Ministry of Youth and Arts, we're always looking for new initiatives. We are looking for ideas that can take us from where we are today to the next stage. And we really believe that it's through the youth, again, that we are able to achieve so much more. And we believe that because Rwanda is the proof of concept. Rwanda is the country that was literally liberated by young people who were in their 20s and 30s. So we know it's really possible today. So what we are asking each one of you today is, do realize your potential. Yes, it is scary, and I don't mean to be patronizing right now because, again, we've all gone through this phase of not being really sure how it's going to happen the moment you make that move, what it means to fully embrace your Rwandan identity. But you have so much to offer, and all we're asking is for you to give us a chance to tap into that potential. So as you already know, in terms of figures, Rwanda, like the rest of the continent, is very young. So what this means for us is there is an even greater challenge to make sure that our young people and our children are properly educated, that they are properly trained, that they are properly supported, because without that, we've seen in other countries what happens to youth that are not well supported. And again, the case of Rwanda, if you I understand you'll be going to visit the memorial of the genocide, and you'll also be going to visit the campaign against the genocide at the parliament. You would see that Rwanda in 1994 was actually led, the genocidal regime was very young at the same time. Today, when you look at all the genocidaires who are being trialed are in the 60s, which meant that in the 1994, they were in the early 30s or mid-30s. When you put that into context, it means that, again, a country that does not take care of its youth, a country that uses its youth for the wrong actions, will have to pay the price at some point. So what we are saying again to our young people is, you are young, you are full of energy, you are full of ambition, creativity. Again, use it for the good of your communities, whether you are still based outside or planning on moving to Rwanda, use it for the good of your communities. Always try to make connections between what's happening over there, the countries that you are living in right now, and what you could benefit in Rwanda. What I also want to say is, in terms of creating a generation that is made of critical thinkers, you live in communities, and again, I don't mean to be patronizing, where you are seeing a lot of changes in terms of the politics around you. The question of national identity is taking a very interesting turn in Europe and in the US at the same time, and in Canada also. You are noticing that what used to be glorified in the past is now being questioned. So you are really at a crossroad in your lives where you have to make a decision. But again, what we ask of you is that you base those decisions on research, on knowledge, on really taking the time to find out what causes all these political shifts that you're noticing around you, what is causing all these changes in socioeconomic factors around you, and that you never, ever take things for granted. I also want to highlight, in addition to that, that in Rwanda, again, in this call of creating a better future for all of us and proving to the generations that fought for us that it was worth the fight, we are calling our young people today to be very entrepreneurial. What this means is ideas are welcome in Rwanda. We want you to challenge the status quo. We want you to understand that this country, you look at the size of Rwanda, you look at the region that we are living in, we can't continue at the pace that we are in today. We need to move even faster. We need to be even more adaptable, agile, flexible, to be able to face the different challenges that we are witnessing around us. And again, always remaining rooted in the culture and the values that we have. Because as you all know, a people without a culture is a people without a future. I also wanted to highlight one thing when it comes to the youth living in the diaspora. What we are asking of you is to make sure that the wealth of knowledge, the expertise, and again, all the positive things that you are exposed to in your countries, that you always find a way to share it with your peers here in Rwanda. Something that you will notice as you travel around the country, I understand that you have a 2-week tour coming up, is that you will see some challenges, and I beg of you to not consider those challenges as something for other people to solve, right? If we were all thinking that way, some issues would have never been fixed. So always try to connect the dots, the knowledge that you have, the expertise, find a way to do it at your own level. How do we apply it to the communities that you'll be visiting in the next 2 weeks? How do we make sure that what you have learned can also be, again, adapted to the Rwandan culture and actually be put to use? If you look again at the current demographic of Rwanda, we all come from somewhere, right? We all have a diverse background, but at the end of the day, as His Excellency said it, the beauty and the strength of Rwanda is that we work on a consensus basis. We come together for a common good, and we really believe that diversity is actually a form of strength. So, one last thing, because I feel like I'm getting a little bit too long. Still on the question of trying to find how to connect the dots between what you've been working on in your countries and what you can bring to Rwanda. If there is one thing you can do every single week, is just read the speeches or listen to the speeches by our president, whether he's delivering it in Rwanda or delivering at some international forum somewhere. You will always hear that he's calling on the youth. He's calling on the Rwandan youth to be bold and not be afraid to take charge and not be afraid to actually, again, challenge the status quo. And in everything that you do about your social and professional growth, remember where you come from, remember where your country comes from, remember that, yes, we do expect so much from you, but it's because we know you're capable of delivering it. And one last thing that I want to say today, in addition to you applying the knowledge that you have to the country, I really want to call on you to be very wary of the division that can come in all kinds of forms. Again, you're living in countries where division has been used as a political tool to gain, votes or what have you. In the case of Rwanda, no division is too small, because we know that the smallest division can only grow and lead to the tragic history that we had. So fight the division with all your power. And again, no division is too small to just be ignored or trivialized. So always be aware of that. And on this note, I want to again thank the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation for making me part of this morning. I look very much forward to learning from you, hearing about your experiences. I understand that there will be a Q&A coming up. So again, thank you for your attention and have a great day.
So we are so happy to have you here, and we thank you for taking this initiative to look back to your country and to, come up with this idea of coming back home, knowing your country, but also I think back in your mind, the most important is what you can do for your country. 30 years ago, when we just stopped genocide, we had one question lingering on our minds. What would our youth be looking like, be thinking of? What would be their attitude? What would be their strength 30 years after? Some of us are happy that we have lived now 30 years after genocide, and happy to see the kind of youth we were thinking of before us. And most importantly, that gives us energy is that we are happy the youth we expected to have 30 years after genocide is the kind of youth that we have today. The youth that is energetic, the youth that is patriotic, the youth that is ready to carry on the mantle of the struggle, to carry on from where your predecessors have reached, have taken the country, and even to move faster. When we look at the enthusiasm that you have, when we look at the effort, the energy that you have, the love for your country, we feel that those who lost their lives trying to liberate this country were not in vain. We are not in vain. And with such a vibrant youth, we look at Rwanda in the next future, in the next 20, 30 years, definitely a very developed country. At this pace, we have no doubt. We have no doubt. All that was needed is this momentum, is this vibrance, is this love for your country, and it's the most important factor for any country to develop. No country has developed in this world where its citizens have not loved it passionately. It's only where citizens of a country, especially the youth, have loved their own country with great passion that that country or those countries have developed. So you seem to have what it takes for a country to move forward. And we can only encourage you to keep the momentum, to love your country, work for it. And it's the only reason why you would be staying outside Rwanda. It's the only reason that you would be staying in the diaspora. What else would you be staying abroad for if it was not to search for knowledge, to search for the best practices that would help develop yourselves but also develop your country? There is no other reason that would keep you outside. So you are there, you are out there, wherever you are, in those countries, in Europe especially, just to search for knowledge, to search for best practices that would help you to develop yourselves, but also to contribute to the development of your country. You have the support, the PS, Minister of State have told you, you have full support of your country. We are behind you. We are looking upon you for the future of this country. So, the country is in your hands. It's in your hands, and I think where Rwanda stands now, yeah, it gives everyone some pride that, making your own contribution to us has already been achieved is what you should do. So we are together, I think, in the next few days you will be somewhere in the east of the country. I will happen to be there, and we shall continue our discussion. If there is anything you would like to ask, let's have a few interactions, and then wish you a nice stay in the country and the various places you will visit. I'm sure most of you will discover more than you knew about Rwanda, about your country, which will enrich your capacities, your understanding of the country, and your commitment to work for it. Thank you.